Good day, everyone. Our lesson for this day is about motivation. But before we start, let me introduce our group. We are the second group, and I am Nika May El Bautista, together with Abril Irish Galang and Nadine Gina, are the reporters for this topic. The objective of this part of Module 6 is to identify the factors contributing to motivation and its process. I'd like to start discussion by asking a general question to everyone. What motivates you to accomplish your goals? Many of you will have various responses, since we all have different objectives and reasons for achieving things. Now, the main question is, what inspires employees to provide excellent service, market a company's products effectively, or achieve the goals set for them? This is related to our topic now, which is motivating. Motivating is the act of giving employees incentives to work to achieve organizational objectives. Through these incentives, the drive to work hard and to be productive will be felt by the employees. On the other hand, the term motivation is the process of activating behavior, sustaining it, and directing it toward a particular goal. Because human behavior is focused on achieving certain objectives, it is a drive that forces one to take action. This means that it is an inner force that encourages, controls, and upholds an individual's more important actions. Observe that individuals are capable of growth, can take on responsibilities, and are willing to align their behavior with the objectives of the organization given the right conditions. Therefore, it is critical for an engineer manager to comprehend the factors that affect employee motivation. So, what are the factors contributing to motivation? There are certain factors influencing a person's desire to do his job well. First is willingness to do a job. Individuals who enjoy what they do are extremely driven to meet requirements and produce expected outputs. This factor is an overall a productivity booster and enhances performance. Second, self-confidence in carrying out a task. Employees feel more motivated when they believe they have the knowledge and experience needed to complete a task. Belief in one's own ability to finish a task has a big impact on effort, performance, and outcomes. Lastly, need satisfaction. If people feel that their needs will be met, they will perform well at job. Employees feel satisfied when they gain what they have been hoping for from the job. So, what is the process of motivation? Allow me to elaborate this diagram. The process of motivation is dynamic. When a person has an unmet need, it can lead to tension, which, when given motivation, may stimulate their drives. To meet this need, these drives lead to an action or certain behavior. After the need has been satisfied, the person will be prepared to look for another unsatisfied need to accomplish a specific goal. We also have theories and techniques of motivation. Under the theories of motivation, four of the most influential ones will be discussed. They consist of the following. First, Maslow's needs hierarchy theory. Second, Herzberg's two-factor theory. Third, expectancy theory. Lastly, goal setting theory. So let's tackle each thoroughly, starting with Maslow's needs hierarchy theory. Abraham Maslow is among the most prominent psychologists of the 20th century. He is a psychologist, theorized that human beings have five basic needs which are as follows: physiological, security, social, esteem, and self-actualization. These are organized in a hierarchy because Maslow's theory of requirements places behavior in the context of the needs that are most compelling at any given moment. As needs are fulfilled, their level of significance changes. When one level of a need is satisfied, the person advances onto the next level in the hierarchy. Put another way, after these basic demands are met, we begin to search for responses or alternatives to higher level needs. A lower level need is no longer a motivator once it is met. Physiological needs are the most fundamental of Maslow's needs. The need for food, water, and other necessities of life are referred to as physiological needs. These are fundamental needs because the drive to find them could overpower all other desires when they are not met. Think about how hungry you are. You might then only be acting in a way that will help you get food. But when you eat, you stop looking for food and the prospect of eating no longer motivates you. After their physiological demands are met, people frequently begin worrying about their safety needs. Are they not in danger, suffering, or have an unclear future? This covers protection from the elements in other people, financial stability that may be impacted by a loss of a job or the family's primary provider, and more. The need to develop strong bonds with peers, experience love, and connect with other people is referred to as social need at a higher level. Esteem requirements become more prominent when social needs are met. The need to feel significant, respected, and valued by one's peers is known as esteem need. It's the necessity of having a respectable and positive view of oneself. Lastly, becoming all you are capable of becoming is the need for self-actualization at the top of the hierarchy. This desire shows up as a drive to learn new things, take on new challenges, and act in a way that will help one achieve their goals in life. But what is the relevance of Maslow's theory to engineering management? Always remember that a fulfilled need no longer motivates individual. If the subordinate finds themselves in such a circumstance, the engineer manager needs to pinpoint an unfulfilled need and devise a plan to inspire the employee to put in more effort in order to get it met. This is where the dynamic process of motivation takes place in a workplace setting. Second theory of motivation is the Hirschberg two-factor theory. The two-factor theory is one developed by Frederick Hirschberg indicating that a satisfied employee is motivated from within to work harder and that a dissatisfied employee is not self-motivated. He used a different approach when addressing the topic of motivation. He concluded that elements of the work environment which satisfy employees are significantly different from elements that dissatisfy them after interviewing people about what makes them both satisfied and dissatisfied at work. He identified two classes of factors associated with employee satisfaction and dissatisfaction. First are the motivation factors or satisfiers. The following factors under this are achievement, recognition, work itself, responsibility, advancement, and growth. Motivators are the circumstances that actually push workers to put in more effort. He labeled factors causing dissatisfaction of workers as hygiene factors because these factors were part of the context in which the job was performed as opposed to the job itself. Company policy and administration, supervision, relationship with supervisor, working conditions, salary, relationship with peers, personal life, relationship with subordinates, status, and security on the job were included as hygiene factors. Consider yourself in an uncomfortable workplace to give an example. It's too cold in the winter and too hot in the summer at the office. You are receiving mistreatment and harassment. In such a workplace, you are certainly dissatisfied. Would you be motivated, nevertheless, if these issues were resolved? You would probably take the circumstances for granted. In reality, a lot of the elements that make up our workplace are things we take for granted when they are there, but miss when they aren't. If the engineer manager is going to use Hirschberg's theory to motivate the employees, he must act to eliminate the dissatisfiers and install satisfiers. Since point zero is regarded as the state of neither satisfaction nor dissatisfaction, it is neutral and indicates that there is neither a motivation nor a reason to work. By adding hygiene factors, employee satisfaction will increase while maintaining the level of dissatisfaction. Despite these limitations, managers can benefit greatly from the idea as it highlights the fact that enhancing the work environment can only go so far in inspiring employees. Contextual elements are unquestionably important because their absence results in dissatisfaction. Managers should also provide employees with the possibilities for demanding work, higher responsibility, promotion opportunities, and a workplace where their subordinates can feel successful, while only concentrating on hygiene factors will not be sufficient to improve jobs.
Thank you, Nico, for insightful discussion on motivation theories. Now let's move on to the second theory of motivation, the expectancy theory. It's a pleasure to introduce myself. I am Ivor Irish Alfonso Galang, and I am excited to divide into this topic with you. Get ready to explore the fascinating world of motivation. Expectancy theory is a motivation model based on the assumption that an individual will work depending on his perception of the probability of his expectation to happen. The theory possesses the idea that motivation is determined by expectancies and valence. Expectancy theory also suggests that people make choices about their behavior based on external to which they believe a certain behavior will lead to a desired outcome. In other words, individuals are more likely to engage in behavior that they believe will result in a positive outcomes, such as rewards or recognition. On the other hand, individuals are less likely to engage in behaviors that they do not believe will lead to the positive outcomes. The theory possesses the idea that motivation is determined by expectancies and valence. An expectancy is a belief about a likelihood or probability that a particular behavioral act, like attending training session, will lead to a particular outcome like promotion. Valence is the value an individual places on expected outcomes or rewards. Expectancy theory is based on the following assumption. First, a combination of forces within the individual and in the environment determine behavior. Expectancy theory asserts the behavior is not determined by a single force or factor, but by a combination of internal and external influence. Internally, a person's behavior is shaped by their individual needs, values, and goals, as well as their perception of the world around them. Externally, behavior is influenced by environmental factors, such as social norms, policies, and other societal expectations. Number two, people can make decisions about their own behavior, and that's of organization. The theory postulates that people make decisions about their behavior based on their own beliefs and expectation of the outcomes that will result from their actions. In other words, individuals consider the potential rewards or consequences of their action before choosing to engage in a particular behavior or activity. Number three, people have different types of needs, goals, and desires. Expectancy theory recognizes that people have different needs, goals, and desires that motivate their behavior. For instance, some individuals may be driven by a desire for anatomy or self-expression, while others may be motivated by need of achievements or recognition. These different motivations can influence the choices people make about their behavior. And lastly, people make choice among alternative behavior based on extent to which they think a certain behavior will lead to desired outcome. When faced with multiple options, individuals tend to evaluate their potential positive consequences of each behavior to make a decision that aligns with their desired outcome. The goal setting theory. The goal setting theory refers to the process of improving performance with objectives, deadline, or quality standard. When individual or group are assigned specific goals, a clear direction is provided and which later motivates them to achieve these goals. By setting clear goals, people can focus their effort and channel their energy toward achieving them. This in turn create a sense of motivation and purpose, which can help to enhance productivity and drive success. Whether it's a personal life or business, goal setting is a critical element in achieving success and realizing one's full potential. The goal setting model drawn by Edwin A. Locke and associate consists of the following components. First, the goal's content. The goal's content to be sufficient in content. Goals will be challenging, attainable, specific, and measurable, time limited, and relevant. By attaining such goals, you can confidently take the necessary step to achieve them and make significant progress toward your desired outcome. When goals are challenging, higher performance may be expected, and sales quota imposed by company to individual member for their sales force indicated reliance for this company to the use of challenging goals. It's common for company to set challenging sales quota for their sales force with the aim of improving performance. By presenting their sales team with the challenging goals, company hope to motivate their employees to work harder and achieving better results. This approach believed to be constructive as it encourages employees to strive for excellence and help company achieve their targets. Goals will be attainable if they are to be set. If they are not, the worker will only be discouraged to perform, if at all. Setting attainable goals is crucial for motivating workers and ensuring their best performance. Unrealistic goals can lead to discouragement and hinder the worker's ability to achieve their potential. It is imperative that goals are stated in a quantitative term for effective performance. By establishing a specific metric, understanding its improved and workers are driven to excel. Goals must have a set time limit for the accomplishment. The more closely aligned they are with the company mission, the greater the support they will receive from employees and all levels of organization. The goal commitment. When individuals or groups are committed to the goals they are supposed to achieve, there is a chance that they will be able to achieve them. Individuals or groups who possess a strong determination and dedication toward achieving their goals are more likely to succeed in accomplishing them. The power of goals commitment can drive people toward greatness and make their dreams a reality. Work behavior. Goals influence behavior in terms of direction, effort, persistence, and planning. When an individual is provided with direction, performance is facilitated. In trying to attain goals that are already indicated, that individual is provided with the direction to exert more effort. The identification of goals provided a reason for individual to persist in his effort until the goals is attained. And lastly, feedback aspect. Feedback provides individuals with a way of knowing how far they have gone in achieving objectives. Feedback also facilitates the introduction of corrective measures whenever they are found to be necessary.
After identifying the different theories that had been discussed so far, we will now proceed to the different techniques in motivation. In order to attain the maximum potential of an individual to be motivated, he or she can use the following various techniques. First, motivation through job design. Second, motivation through rewards. Third, motivation through employee participation. And lastly, other motivation techniques for the diverse workforce. First, let's talk about motivation through job design. If a person is given a job they love, they will be extremely motivated to do well. Nonetheless, establishing jobs that satisfy the needs of both the company and the individuals occupying them is the first prerequisite. Job design may be defined as specifying the tasks that constitute a job for an individual or a group. The way a job is designed affects absenteeism, turnover, commitment to the company, work satisfaction, and employee motivation. Most of the professionals use this to motivate those individuals to maximize their potential to meet the organization and company requirements. Two approaches may be used in motivating through the use of job design. These are fitting people to jobs and fitting jobs to people. Let's tackle first the fitting people to jobs. Person job fit is where an employee has to be able to fulfill the job description requirements. When an employee abilities aren't looked at, they are assigned tasks they aren't qualified to carry out. As a result, workers will experience chronic dissatisfaction due to routine and repeated duties. The following solutions can be adopted to avoid this. First is realistic job preview, where management provides honest explanation of what a job actually entails. This is to convey the key aspects of the role before a job offer is made. Second is the job rotation, where people are moved periodically from one specialized job to another. One way to reduce the monotonous aspects of job specialization is for employees to rotate roles on an ongoing basis. Cashiers, for instance, were rotated across several departments. Employee stress levels decrease as a result of the rotation. Lastly, is limited exposure, where employees aren't exposed to a lot of repetitive, highly fragmented tasks. Another approach is fitting jobs to people. Management might think about switching jobs rather than replacing the employee. This could be archived using the following methods. First is through job enlargement, where two or more specialized tasks in a workflow sequence is combined into a single job. The term job enlargement describes the process of increasing the range of duties that employees carry out. Organizations aim to lessen the monotony and boredom while making better use of their human resources by assigning employees multiple tasks to complete rather than restricting their activity to a smaller number of jobs. Second is through job enrichment, where efforts are made to make jobs more interesting, challenging, and rewarding. A job redesign strategy called job enrichment gives employees more autonomy over how they carry out their own responsibilities. This strategy enables workers to assume more responsibility. This might be the case because workers who feel responsible and accountable for their job are able to work more effectively, cut out pointless activities, take shortcuts, and perform more effectively all around. Now, after knowing the different ways in motivation through job design, let's now jump into the next one, which is the motivation through rewards. The rewards come in the form of material and psychological gains for workers who complete tasks at work. Reward schemes that are implemented correctly can raise employee satisfaction as well as efficiency. There are two categories of rewards. The first one is extrinsic rewards, which refer to rewards that a person receives from another party. Money, benefits for employees, recognition, promotions, status, symbols, praise, and so on are a few examples. They are controlled by parties other than the employee and are therefore extrinsic as they are not directly related to finishing the task at hand. The other one is intrinsic rewards, which are internally experienced payoffs which are self-granted. Examples of this are a sense of accomplishment, self-esteem, and self-actualization. These are psychological benefits that workers receive for completing well-meaning tasks. They are intrinsic because they are part of the task being done and can only be attained to a significant extent through personal effort. Management of extrinsic rewards. In order to successfully motivate job performance, it is necessary to correctly manage extrinsic reward according to the following guidelines. First on the list is that it must satisfy individual needs. No single kind of award works for every employee in every situation. This is true since every person has unique needs that set them apart from others. If the goal is motivation, then the rewards for each individual's needs should be as closely aligned as feasible. However, the administrative limitations that come with such a system will prevent it from being adopted. However, it needs to be applied whenever possible. Second in the list is that the employees must believe effort will lead to reward. Workers need to think that their efforts will be rewarded. If not, they won't try to put in additional effort in their specific job task. Third is that rewards must be equitable. Inequitable rewards won't generate the necessary motivation. Finally, the rewards must be linked to performance. Employees may be expected to put in more effort by management if they are aware that rewards are dependent on individual performance. One unfavorable instance is the policy at many government offices, where each employee, regardless of performance, receives an increase in productivity. Because of this, most people lack the motivation to work harder.
To continue the next part, I am Nadine Gina that will explain further the next concepts. The third technique of motivation is motivation through employee participation, whereas when employees participate in deciding various aspects of their jobs, the personal involvement oftentimes is carried up to the point where the task is completed. There are four specific activities identified where employees may participate. These are setting goals, making decisions, solving problems, and lastly, designing and implementing organizational changes. But the most popular approaches to participations are quality control circles, with an objective to increase productivity and quality of outputs. The circle consists of a group of 3 to 10 employees doing related works, meets regularly to identify problems and discuss solutions that the management may consider. And results, feedback, recognition, and rewards may be given to quality control circles. While self-management teams, also known as autonomous work groups or high-performance teams, take on traditional managerial tasks as part of their normal work routine. The self-management teams work on their own, turning out a complete product or service and receiving minimal supervision from managers who act more as facilitators than supervisors. There are requisites to a successful employee participation program. These are as follow. Number 1, a profit sharing or gain sharing plan. Number 2, a long-term employment relationship with good job security. Number 3, a concerted effort to build and maintain group cohesiveness. And number 4, protection of the individual employee's right. Other motivation techniques, the advent of theories on individual differences, and the biological clock of human beings put pressure on the engineer manager to adopt other motivation techniques whenever applicable. This refers to the following. Number 1, flexible work schedules. An arrangement called flex time that allows employee to determine their own arrival and departure times within specific limits. A good example is a group of employees taking 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. while other takes 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. work hours. Alternative to this arrangement is adapting to 40 hours work in 4 days, allowing the employees to take day off. Number 2, family support services. Employees are oftentimes burdened by family obligations like caring for children. Progressive companies provide daycare facilities for children of employees. Number 3, sabbaticals. A sabbatical leave is one given to an employee after a certain number of years of service. The employee is allowed to go on leave for 2 months to 1 year with pay to give him time for family, recreations, and travel. It is expected that when the employee returns for work, his motivation is improved. The purpose of monetary and incentives is to reward associates for excellent job performance through money. Monetary and incentives include profit sharing, project bonuses, stock options, warrants, scheduled bonuses, and additional paid vacation time. Some examples are monthly pay, depend on qualification of employee, 13th month pay given at mid-year, 14th month pay given at year-end, housing allowance given to permanent employee, sick leave benefits 15 days a year with pay, vacation leave benefits 15 days a year with pay, pension plan given to permanent employees, paid vacation trip given to employees with outstanding performance, health insurance and accident insurance given to permanent employees. And that's the end of our discussion about the second part of Module 6, which is giving motivations to employees. We hope you learned something from our discussion and thank you for listening.